Every year, celebrities attend the Clive Davis Grammy party the night before the Grammys. The greatest ticket in town. Good news, you'll see the greatest tonight. Clive Davis is still a successful music industry figure who wants to improve. His journey to becoming a lawyer. Being Sony Music Entertainment CCO is great. Clive Davis, music company CEO. Barry Manilow, Patti Smith, Billy Joel, and Earth, Wind, Fire are among his many celebrity clients. Very long list. His narrative is deeper than it seems. Recent revelations reveal his long-kept struggles, secrets, and problems that led to his commercial success. What were these hidden things? What does their rapid fame mean? Let's uncover Clive Davis's life, secrets, and more. The young man wanted to live his best life even with her observing. However, life would repeat its mistakes. After his father died, his mother abandoned him within a year. It was awful for young Clive. No longer could he understand his life. Sina, his married older sister, took him in and helped him mentally through those tough times. Sina always attempted to help Clive, who looked up to his parents. But he didn't want to bother her. He didn't want to disturb her with his problems after she gave up so much for him. He understood she had her own issues without him. He planned to depart. He transformed his life with this decision. Over the months, he got more autonomous and sought new methods to stand apart. He named himself Well. Discover how. From modest to brilliant, what can you tell creative people who are so dedicated to their ideas and ambitions to persuade them to follow you and make the most money? Clive Davis excelled in school to be the best. He received the highest marks at Erasmus High School in Brooklyn. He received a special scholarship to NYU for his high GPA. He studied hard to earn a political science degree because he wanted to. Many of his acquaintances thought he wanted to be president after graduation. He strived for excellence in everything. He received magna cum laude at his 1953 graduation for his hard work. Additionally, he was inducted into Phi Beta Kappa, one of the oldest U.S. college honor societies. Additionally, the brilliant person received a full grant to study law at Harvard Law School. His Bachelor of Laws degree came in 1956 after his regular academic success. He became an involved Board of Student Advisors member. It was significant. It allowed him to advise students and influence major events, projects, and scholarly achievements. His novel insights helped Clive establish a foundation in several legal fields. He took an action that would benefit his music career. Enter the music business, things were about to get bizarre for the brilliant man. His life seemed to have other plans. Famous music producer Clive Davis works hard at 89. The 24-year-old Harvard Law School alumnus worked at a modest New York City law firm after graduating in 1956. Some thought the brilliant man started small when he shouldn't. If so, he failed because he would shortly join a superior law firm. The outcome was likewise surprising. CBS, a popular American TV network, was represented by this new legal firm. TV network officials summoned him in to discuss case strategy because he was one of the top lawyers there. The executives liked Clive's imaginative approaches to difficult situations, and everything went well. Clive's co-worker Harvey Schein quit the company to find greater prospects because he wasn't getting enough from the legal business. After a few years apart, Clive and Harvey Schein reunited in 1960, with Harvey Schein now powerful at Columbia Records, corporation owned by CBS. Clive could be a junior lawyer, he said. He accepted since he liked the job description and working with an old coworker. Clive began his music career at 28. Basically, he was the company's lawyer and helped with legal matters. To avoid further lawsuits, Harvey assured the firm that Clive would follow his word, and he did. He was so proficient at his profession that many firm employees knew him early on. His foresight helped the corporation avoid legal issues by predicting litigation years in advance. But even Clive couldn't predict his next career breakthrough. We'll see. Clive's new bosses noticed his skills after 5 years. He became Columbia Records general counsel. Rock and roll became our national music. You led the group at Columbia Records during your peak success. He was now the top lawyer, making major business-wide legal decisions. In addition to checking for compliance, he made tough decisions when the law required it. Clive soon had more than legal responsibilities at the company. Clive began helping with company business at 30. A lengthy and successful music career began here. As a good lawyer, Clive believed this was the best thing ever. But things were just beginning. He was the best at what he did because that's Clive. His legal expertise kept the corporation out of legal difficulties, and pending disputes were rapidly resolved. Clive's lawyers were impressed by how well he controlled things and told to improve or risk being replaced by better lawyers who met his standards. He knew more about the music business than some of the company's senior leaders, but the board couldn't fire them to create way for him. This made some higher-ups uncomfortable since they knew elevating Clive Davis again was right. The only sensible job for a smart and capable man was Columbia Records president. It would be too fast to do this suddenly. It could potentially cause problems for job seekers. Clive searched Monterey Pop Festival in 1967 for fresh musicians. He discovered Janis Joplin's ability during the event. Clive Davis knew Janis would be a great business artist because of intelligence. He believed rock music, which was unpopular at the time, could become popular. Sweetheart. Janis Joplin's entrance electrifies the audience. His connections at the record label helped him sign Janis Joplin. Every employee was astonished by Janis's musical talent and commercial achievement. Stopping Clive's major promotion was nearly impossible. This meeting was successful, pushing them to make the important decision. Clive Davis, 35, became Columbia Records president in 1967. He now ran the firm and had to pick which musicians to sign and how to build it. The 35-year-old was the focus of leaders with big hopes. Could they perform as expected? Find out. After 2 years as label head, Clive sought fresh performers. Despite being the company's boss, he didn't like to delegate. Despite having numerous people to complete the study, he did it himself. He attended the 1969 Woodstock Festival for surveillance. As he indicated, rock music was growing more popular and many artists and groups showcased it in their own ways. All of them were amazing, but Santana's show was his favorite. This band was unique because they could blend rock, jazz, and Latin music without sounding off. Clive Davis soon signed the band to Columbia Records because they required more attention. He was right again. Santana's first album, released later that year, was a hit. Their following album would sell more. This album's singles secured rock music's place in history and are a significant reason why so many people still enjoy and respect it. The 1969 song remains one of his most popular. Santana last performed at Bethel's Woodstock 50 years ago. His identity was unknown at the time. There was more. At a 1972 open audition, Bruce Springsteen demonstrated his songwriting and singing skills. He signed him after hearing many tunes and chords. Clive's new artist's debut record was successful again. He became a major classic rock performer when his second album made him recognized worldwide. Clive got his next major contract after hearing a song on live radio. He liked the music. They were asked who did it. He discovered Billy Joel, an underground pop talent. Davis, who knew excellent vocalists, offered Billy a contract with his company. Billy agreed. But Clive's new artist fared better this time. His biggest hit was from his debut album. Lots of people want Billy's upcoming records. All of this made him a famous artist. Clive has been Columbia Records president for 5 years, and his decisions have always paid off. He exceeded expectations. This upset the enthusiastic president, who thought jazz and R&B would earn more money. Starting with jazz, Clive realized Herbie Hancock's talent. Many artists copied and pasted what worked into their compositions without taking risks, but Herbie was always ready to start something fresh. Despite his creativity and talent, Herbie wasn't good at it. Clive offered to mentor the young artist since he believed in his potential. This was conceivable because Herbie mixed modern components with traditional jazz, like Carolina Pratsenko integrates modern pop with classical themes. Herbie was signed soon after, and they began work. Shebe improved with Clive's care. He wrote other songs for later albums using those talents. His Columbia Records records sold well and became jazz legends. Again, proving Clive's initial option was right, Miles Davis became Clive's idol soon after. Clive would do anything to get him on the label because he was so good. Miles Davis' fame was the only issue. Why would he join the label? Besides being educated and charismatic, he was caring. He granted Miles a contract because he knew what he needed as an artist. Miles signed immediately after hearing the terms were acceptable. Miles couldn't adapt to modern jazz no matter how hard he tried. With Clive's support, Miles released a record that did that. Bits Brew, the album, was unique. Miles Davis's Bits Brew sounds like it comes from a time and place where people don't fit. His loyal fans understood his past records would stay with him. Jazz, rock, and funk made it a hit. Jazz music changed drastically. Late in the 1960s, Clive grew interested in R&B. The greatness of Sly and the Family Stone contributed to this. They did rhythm and blues differently. They combined soul, rock, and funk for a unique sound. Many people related, and when they signed with Clive Davis, they gained notoriety. It became a soul music superstar with dance to the music and everyday people. Clive also liked the Isley Brothers. No one mixes R&B with rock and soul like this outfit. Because Clive trusted them, it's our thing, and work to do were hits. The young CEO enjoyed himself. Every aspect of life was fantastic. Since horrible things were coming, he should have enjoyed that moment, risking it. An internal assessment in 1973 revealed that Clive Davis was profiting from the firm. This cost him his Columbia Records job. One day you arrive at work and are fired and told to leave. On first glimpse, he did things his own and didn't listen, so the board didn't want him on the squad longer. Why fire him without considering his company work? It happened too fast for someone who helped the firm lots. Clive wrote while this happened. After months, he finished a new book's first draft. Soon after, the book would surface. The book Clive Inside the Record Business was an instant sensation and a national bestseller. His book described his music industry experience and knowledge. When the author described how he hired the top employees for the business, industry professionals were startled. Columbia Pictures employed Clive as an advisor for Bell Records because the book was brilliant. After being sacked from Columbia Records, he wasn't expecting this position. After seeing his potential, they provided him the chance to establish a name for himself. Arista Records was founded in 1974 using this financing. It will teach you to try hard. Columbia Pictures executives believed Clive would succeed. This almost proved impossible for Clive. He had to rebuild his business reputation to create Arista Records. Poor money management marked his life. He had to start from the bottom and rise. To improve his image, Clive needed fresh musicians who would trust a dishonest individual who had messed up a huge company's money to start a new label. He started poorly, which was the only reason few artists considered collaborating with him. In addition, he would need to choose the correct staff and directors, who shared his ideals and methods. Clive had to differentiate his label to get noticed at an era when many record labels copied his method for finding and developing great musicians. Finding instinctively speaking artists wasn't easy. Keeping up with the times required fast learning, things were busy and new music was coming out. Business changed rapidly in the 1970s, so there was no time to waste. Clive discovered Barry Manilow, a lesser-known jingle writer, at that point. It's hard to realize Barry Manilow is 80. Making music is my passion. Like making things, he was a New York City pianist, and Clive couldn't let him go without an offer. This song, Mandy, topped the Billboard Hot 100 later that year. This made the jingle writer famous. Clive helped Barry release many popular albums and singles in the 1970s and 1980s, with songs like Can't Smile Without You Copacabana and I Wrote Timeless Hits. Because Barry's music was so popular, the firm could afford more artists. The 1983 signing was the next big one. Clive Davis witnessed Whitney Houston perform in a New York bar in 1983. Because of her charisma and voice, he thought she could become a global celebrity. When she agreed, Clive made her a nice deal and found her the proper songs and producers to launch her. 3 tracks on Whitney Houston's self-titled debut album made her famous worldwide. She sold millions of albums with these tracks before becoming a music superstar in less than a year. Like lightning twice in a bottle, it worked well. She was actually quite excellent at it. Many of her 1990s records were successful, raising her and the label's prominence. Whitney. But life was about to take another awful turn. Big betrayal, finest comeback ever. Year 2000 ended. Energy was high in the early 2000s. Many organizations made substantial adjustments simultaneously to thrill customers. It was exciting for business leaders worldwide, but not for Clive Davis. He was sacked from Arista Records, his thriving label. Greed and politics drove BMG, Arista's parent company, to seek new leadership. Most Clive employees didn't need him anymore, thus they thought the corporation should choose younger CEOs who were better at dealing with modern audiences. Because Clive helped the company succeed, business people criticized him. BMG wouldn't last a year without its creative leader, so there was optimism. BMG handed him around $50 million to launch a new label because they needed him. Clive Davis accepted. J Records, a future music giant. One of the new company's biggest triumphs was signing Alicia Keys. Her debut album, Songs in a Minor, was a smash. It won multiple Grammys and sold over 12 million copies. The award goes to, up to Alicia Keys. Awards made J Records a powerful force not to be underestimated. Jamie Foxx, Monica, and Luther Vandross also succeeded, making J Records a great label. Clive Davis proved he could adjust when needed. Big schemes and corporate greed didn't stop him. Despite feeling like he could see the future, he couldn't predict it. In 2002, Clive became RCA Music Group Chairman and CEO, changing his career. Clive became head of RCAJ and Arista Records, a major change. The two companies had fired him for separate reasons. That makes it intriguing. But now he was in charge of both. His hire was then revealed to be part of the parent company's intention to grow the business with his skills. So the claimed turn of events should have been predicted from the start. In 2008, Clive got a greater music job. Sony Music Entertainment's chief creative officer, Clive Davis oversaw all artistic directions and new projects. Because of his intellect and morality, he was the best candidate. He still excels in that function. Clive Davis moved from being a lawyer trying to make it to one of the most influential figures in modern music, noted for his tireless support of new artists, turning them into global stars. The secret life and significance of Clive Davis. His perseverance was unwavering. You think? More to his story? Am I missing anything essential from his career? Answer in the box below. Like, share, and subscribe if you like the movie. Also, click the next video you'll enjoy.